So, welcome to this session on project evaluation and review technique. Now, this is in continuation to the earlier technique of critical path method, which we studied in the earlier session. In this session, we'll target about understanding the concept of PERT, or the project evaluation and review technique, and how it is useful in the project management. Now, before coming to PERT, just a quick recap on some of the important concepts which might be worthwhile to take a look at this stage. So, as we have already studied in our earlier classes, that typically a project consists of 4 phases, which are those of conceptualization, planning, implementation, and then termination and closure. So there are various activities or various distinct activities which are performed in each of these stages. Like in conceptualization stage, we are concerned more about the development of conceptual design, then the setting up of the scopes and objectives, goals, the budgeting part, and project appraisal. Coming to the planning phase, we typically go ahead with work breakdown structures, which we have already studied in one of the earlier sessions. Then the concept of organizational breakdown structure, cost breakdown structure, and we set the different deadlines and milestones for various achievements during the project execution. And we have the resources planning also, that what kind of equipment, material, and labor we'll be requiring for this. So then we come to the implementation phase, wherein resource management, performance appraisal is done, materials and contracts management is done, risk management is also undertaken in that, and finally we have the project execution coming to conclusion with handing over of the project to the concerned customer or stakeholder, and a feedback of project appraisal might be also there. So the typical framework for project management involves the concepts, various concepts. So we have studied with that concept of work breakdown structure, which deals is what we are going to do in the particular project. Now, who is concerned with the execution of various activities identified in a work breakdown structure, that comes under the head of organizational breakdown structure. So typically you take a look at the organizational structure and who's going to perform which function so that the project reaches to successful completion. That is undertaken in that. With respect to how much cost will be involved, we have the cost breakdown structure, and then the network planning and representation deals with when, by the timelines, particularly when we are going to how we are going to progress through the particular project. So typically when we talk about techniques like critical path method and PERT, we are dealing with this particular aspect of network representation and planning, which is concerned with when aspect related to project management framework. Now then how well we did it, that will be the project monitoring and control, post project appraisal aspect. Those will typically cover that. So we essentially see that there are various issues which need to be properly managed for successful completion of project, and typically projects are categorized with a uniqueness. That means each project is unique in itself. Each will have a distinct clear-cut time frame and start, beginning time, and unique requirements design. So there will be, we can see generally a high level of subcontracting. A term also used here is the outsourcing, which is make or buy decision concept, and there is a lot of teamwork involved in execution of a project. So we see that essentially at the core there is risk and uncertainty involved in projects, because we are not certain as to how the progress will proceed. Though despite being careful in planning, there is an uncertainty element always involved in various activities. So and along with the uncertainty comes the element of risk. So there is a technique which is known as PERT, Program Evaluation and Review Technique, which enables the project managers to analyze projects which have in particular high degree of uncertainty, and this uncertainty is analyzed with respect to different activity duration. We'll see more of how the PERT technique is used with an example in latest slides. Before progressing to the example, we need to be clear about some of the basic assumptions which are there for using the PERT, or the project evaluation and review technique. Now, what are these? So basically, PERT enables project managers to analyze a network with uncertainties in time estimates. How they will be doing it? Now, there could be several reasons. So when we talk about PERT, it is related to handling of uncertainty in projects. Now, from where does this uncertainty comes from? Now, this uncertainty is likely to be in several projects to varying extent or degree. So a project manager needs to have additional tools for managing this kind of uncertainty in projects. Now, uncertainty mainly comes from non-repetitive nature of the activities, because each activity associated in a project might be unique or distinct. It has not been done before, so estimating its exact time duration is a challenging task. And managers who have now prior experience of precisely this kind of activity, they are unable to accurately estimate time and resource requirement for completion of such activities. So in order to analyze the network when uncertainty in time estimates exist, we use this framework called PERT, which is Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It was developed during the Second World War for managing projects, and it assumes that the activities that constitute a project and their relationship to other activities are known with certainty. So that is a prior condition, that we need to know the activities which are there in a product. Typically through a work breakdown structure, they are identified, and their relationships are also identified with certainty. However, the uncertainty is there because of there is a considerable difficulty in estimating the time with certainty for these activities. Now, there are some presumptions or assumptions which are made. So first one is that the PERT relies on subjective expertise of managers actively involved in such projects to estimate the duration of activities. And now these activities are those about which considerable uncertainty exists, and we make use of 3 time durations in such cases of uncertain activity durations. One is the most likely estimate. So suppose an expert or the experts in an organization or project management organization, based on their prior experience, we ask them that what is the most likely estimate of duration for a particular activity which you can give. So they will be giving an estimate, and that is taken as the most likely estimate of that activity duration time. And we can ask them then what is the most optimistic estimate of the activity duration, and that is represented by TO, T with a subscript O. And this denotes that like if you are positive about that progress of a project, that it is progressing positively, and we are expecting it to get completed within the best shortest possible time duration. So what in that scenario, what is going to be the activity duration? So that is called as the optimistic activity duration, TO. Similarly, we also ask them that also tell us what is the most pessimistic estimate for a particular activity duration. So in case they feel that something unprecedented or something which prolongs the activity duration might happen. So in the worst case, so we can take is that's this optimistic represents the best case scenario, pessimist denotes the worst case scenario for activity duration, and then we have the most likely. So three activity durations: TM, the most likely estimate; TO, the optimistic estimate for activity duration; and TP, the pessimistic estimate of activity duration. These three time durations estimates are made for each and every activity involved in a project. Now the activity duration is assumed to follow a beta distribution. So that is also an assumption that there will be a beta distribution for the three time estimates of T optimistic, T most likely estimate, and the T pessimistic. So as we can see, it is a skewed distribution. Beta distribution is not like a normal distribution, which is a bell-shaped uniform curve. This duration has tail towards the right hand side, as you can see. So skewness is there. So we have the least time, that is the optimistic time specified here. Then we have the most likely estimate, which is with maximum probability, and we have the then the towards the tail we have the pessimistic time estimate, which is maximum duration, which is likely to happen in case in worst case scenario for a particular activity. So the second assumption is that the activity durations are assumed to follow a beta distribution. Now unlike as I mentioned, unlike a normal distribution, beta distribution has a skewed right tail. As we see in this beta distribution here, it is having a tail at the right end. It is skewed right tail. So why do we choose beta distribution? Well, the choice of beta distribution seems reasonable because unique and large scale projects may have occasionally large activity duration due to uncertainty. So for incorporating this large activity duration due to uncertainty in large projects, we take this distribution as an approximate or an appropriate distribution for in case of PERT technique. Now the third assumption is that the expected time for each activity and the variance of the activity duration can be approximated using an equation, which is the expected activity duration is related to the optimistic and most likely and pessimistic duration by this formula. That is, T estimated time duration for a particular activity is the sum of the optimistic time duration for that activity plus 4 times the most likely time duration for that activity plus the pessimistic time duration for that activity divided by 6. So we are taking basically, if you can see, a mean, an average of 3 time durations: optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic, with giving more weightage at means 4 times more weightage compared to the optimistic and pessimistic durations, and averaging it out. So it's a kind of a weighted average we are taking for these 3 time durations. So this gives us the most likely or expected activity duration for that particular activity. Now corresponding to this activity duration, we have the variance, which is the sum of the standard deviation. So since we are dealing with the statistics or probability, uncertainty, which is often comes associated with probabilistic estimations, so we have the various measures of statistics like the standard deviation, and square of standard deviation is known as the variance, and that is given by this particular formula, that the pessimistic time minus the optimistic time divided by 6, and if you square that, then you get the variance of the activity duration. Now another important observation is that since mean is an unbiased estimator, the summation of the expected activity duration, that is TEs for different activities in a path, is the expected duration of the project along that path. So if we take a particular path for a particular based on the network diagram where we construct the different activities and their relationships, we show them diagrammatically, then we get from the first node till the last node different paths. So what we are saying is that it is assumed that the expected duration of alternative paths follow a normal distribution, and similarly the variance of the duration of the project along a path is the sum of variance of the individual activities on that particular path. So this is shown over here, that if we have a path P where A, B, C and D activities are involved, then the total sum of durations is the summation of the different estimates for activities on that path, that is A, B and C and D activities. Similarly, the variance of duration for that path is also the summation of variances of associated with activities A, B, C and D. And the expected project duration is the critical path duration, which is the longest path duration, and that is given by the maximum TP value. So we estimate along with different paths the time durations, and which are given by the sum of the expected times for different activities on that path, and if we take the maximum value of that, that is equal to our project duration or the critical path duration. Now we'll see it through an example to make the things more clear. So here we have an example of a organization called GU Dune Homes, which are into construction of new homes. Now they have undertaken a construction project, and that is of a kind that they have no prior experience, means they have not done it before. So there is uncertainty in estimating the time duration for different activities related to this particular project. Now in this case, what the senior management can do is that they can, through collective brainstorming, come at some estimates of the time durations for this different activities. So we have activities A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, different activities. They can represent like design, approval of plan, foundations, superstructure construction, so on and so forth. This is actually the same activity list which we used in the previous case of presentations also. So you can maybe refer the earlier presentations to get more like what activity A, B, C and D represent. So for different activities associated with the project, we have the optimistic time estimates through collective brainstorming. So these are provided through collective brainstorming. We get the estimates for the optimistic time period for these each of these activities. Similarly, for the most likely activity durations for these activities, and also the pessimistic activity durations. Now based on these three activity durations, we calculate the expected duration through using the formula that is T expected is equal to T optimistic plus 4T times most likely plus TP by 6. So T optimistic 4 plus 4 times most likely and then the sum of pessimistic durations. So 4 plus 4 times 8, that is 32. 32 plus 4 is 36. 36 plus 18, so 54. So that divided by 6 gives us 9. So we get the value of expected duration. Similarly, this multiplied by this plus 4 times multiplied this quantity plus this quantity and whole summation divided by 6 gives us this expected activity duration time, and we get for all these activities over here. Now the variance is estimated using this particular formula, that is the pessimistic time duration minus the optimistic time duration divided by 6 whole square. So we have the values for pessimistic time duration and optimistic time durations. We take the difference of the two, then divide by 6 and square it, and we get the variance values for different activity durations. Now once we have done that, we are just exhibiting in a pictorial form through the network diagram how these activities are progressing through the project and how they are interrelated or their relations are. So as we can see, there are different paths which are available. This is based again on the previous presentations. For details, you may wish to refer to the previous presentations wherein how to construct a network diagram. That activity has been explained in detail. So based on this activity list and the predecessor and successor activity list, we have constructed this network diagram, and there are from the start node to the end node, there are different paths available, like we can progress to 1 2 3 4 5 7 and 8 this path, or 1 2 3 5 7 and 8, or we can go to 1 2 6 7 8, or we can follow this path 1 2 3 4 5 and then 6 and 7 8. So multiple paths are possible from the first node to the different node. So various combination of activities exist. So for each of these paths we have these activities listed out here. Different paths have been shown, the 5 paths which are possible from the beginning of the project, that is noted by the start node, to the closure or the completion of the project, which is noted by the last node, that is node 8 in this case. So we go about estimating the expected duration for these activities along these paths. So we consider all these activities between path 1 2 3 5 7 8. So typically 1 2 3 5 7 8 is 1 2 activity A followed by B, then activity D, and activity I, and then activity J. So for each of them we have already calculated the expected durations. So if we sum up the expected durations along these paths of these activities A, B, E, I and J, we get 37 weeks as the expected duration for this particular path. Similarly, for the second path, we sum the expected durations calculated for activities A, B, D, F, I and J, which we have already done over here in this table, and we get the value of 32 weeks. Similarly, for other paths we do. Now we also calculate the corresponding variance. As I have already told, the variance is calculated using this formula, that is sigma square is equal to optimistic time minus pessimistic time minus optimistic time, and divided by 6 whole square. So we also go ahead and calculate the variance using this formula for this particular path. Now once we have these values, we can see that the maximum duration of expected duration is given by 40 weeks. So this is the longest duration. That means this is the critical path, and we expect the project to get completed in 40 paths, and this path is project path 4, which is given by 1 2 3 5 6 7 8. So 1 2 3 5 6 7 8, this is the critical path associated with this project, and we expect that project to get completed in 40 weeks, which is the maximum duration of expected durations of various paths. So this way we get the complete picture about the different activities, their relationships, their expected time durations because of uncertainty involved, and we are able to estimate the likely time. Now since it is uncertainty case, so we have the concept of probability, which is related to uncertainty. So if somebody asks us that what is the probability of completing the project in 45 weeks, so earlier we have already calculated that the most likely estimate is that the project will get completed in 40 weeks, but uncertainty is there, so it might happen that the project might extend to 45 weeks. So say suppose if somebody's top management or even the customer is expecting that what is the probability of completing the project within 45 weeks. So if we say that according to our estimate, since the critical path is 40, so we are assuming that project will be completed in 40 weeks, but it might happen because of uncertainty that the project gets extended. So what is the probability of that case? So it is depicted over here in this duration, where we have plotted the expected project duration, and we get this. So we represent the mean, the central line, by the expected project duration. So this is 40 weeks. So what we are saying is that the expected project duration timings are also distributed as a normal distribution plot, and the mean, the average is the 40 weeks duration which we expect. That is the maximum expectations which you are having. But in case the project gets extended, so it might instead of 40 take 45 weeks time period. So what is that probability? So this typical area, this is related to the statistics which you might have already studied in your previous semesters. So this particular area from 0 to 45 weeks This represents the probability of completion of project within 45 days, and the balanced white portion of this under this curve, that represents the probability of not completing a project within the 45 periods 45 weeks duration. So how do we calculate that probability, this particular probability of completing the project within 45 weeks in 45 weeks? That is given by the use of the Z, that is the score, Z score. So Z score is nothing but the value of variable x minus mean of variable x divided by the standard deviation of variable x. So we, in this case, we have the mean as the expected project duration, which we have already calculated here, that is 40 weeks. Then mean is that is TC is already available as 40. Now the x value means the value within which we are expecting the project to get complete, that is 45 weeks. So D is 45, T we have as 40, and the standard deviation for the T is given by the under root of variation. So we have already calculated the standard deviation and the associated variance here. So standard deviation is nothing but square root of variance, or variance is the square of standard deviation, sigma, as it is symbolized as. Variance is represented as V and standard deviation is S. So V is S square, where S denotes the sample standard variation. For population parameters, we represent the standard deviation by the symbol sigma. So variance is equal to standard deviation square, so it can be represented as sigma square. So if we undertake the root of variance, so it will give us the standard deviation. So we put in this formula for Z score, that is x minus x bar upon sigma. So x value is nothing but D value, that is 45. Then the x bar mean value is the critical path estimated time value, which is 40, and we divide by the square root of variance, that is 18.32, square root is 4.28. Once we do that, we get a Z score value as 1.168. Now we have got the standard normal tables of probability, so corresponding to this value of Z, that is 1.168, through the table we get that the probability is given as 0.878. so we have the table booklet is there, in which the plots for different distributions are shown for Z score, and associated probability is there. So corresponding to this value of Z, from there we get the value of probability as close to 88.878, which means close to 88% probability is there that the project will get completed in 45 weeks. So what we say is that our estimate for project duration is 40 weeks, but because of uncertainty, that project is expected to get completed in 45 weeks to the extent that we are only 88% surety or probability is there that the project will get completed within 45 weeks. So summarizing in a nutshell, the projects are associated with uncertainties, and uncertainty comes from the fact that there are a large number of activities involved, and some of them are very unique. There is no prior experience, prior estimation of those activities. So because of that, we get uncertainty involved in a project execution. And to counter or to plan through this uncertainty, what the project managers do is that they get the estimates of various activity durations in terms of three time durations, which are the optimistic time duration, that is the best case scenario for a particular activity to get completed, then the most likely case, that how much most likely that project activity is going to take, that duration, and also the pessimistic time duration for that activity. So based on these three estimates, using the formulas for the most expected time duration given by this and the variance given by this, we calculate the expected activity duration. Based on that, we can identify the maximum duration path, and that is the critical path, or it also represents the project completion duration. And then we also get we can calculate the probability that within a particular time frame, how much probability exists to get the project completed. So with this we conclude this topic of PERT. Thank you for being a patient listener.